I didn't know he was watching me. Episode 3. The car was following her. Ada noticed it on the third turn. Black sedan, tinted windows, staying exactly 3 cars back on the busy Seoul street. She told herself she was being paranoid. Told herself that Min-jae's warnings had gotten into her head, and now she was seeing threats where there were none. But when she turned down a side street that wasn't on her usual route home, the car turned too. Her pulse kicked up. She was walking back from the convenience store, just a quick trip for rice and instant coffee, the same trip she made 3 times a week. It was 4 in the afternoon. The street was moderately busy. Nothing should have felt wrong. Except everything did. Ada picked up her pace, not running, not yet, just walking faster, her grocery bag clutched against her chest. She turned another corner. The car turned, kept that same distance. Patient, deliberate. Her phone was in her pocket. She could call someone. Jisoo, the police, Jaehyun. The thought of his name made her fingers twitch toward her phone. But what would she say? A car is following me. I think, maybe, I'm not sure. She turned down a busier street. More people, more witnesses. The car couldn't do anything here. Whatever it wanted, it couldn't happen in broad daylight with this many eyes around. The car slowed. Stopped at the curb. Ada kept walking, didn't look back. Her apartment was 2 blocks away. If she could just get there, get inside, lock the door. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Her hand shook as she pulled it out, answered without thinking. Stop walking. A man's voice, Korean accent, flat, emotionless. Ada stopped. Her blood went cold. Turn around. She turned. The black sedan was still there, parked, windows still too dark to see through. Get in the car. No, her voice came out steadier than she felt. It's not a request. I don't care what it is. I'm not getting in. A pause, then, Kim SSI wants you protected. There are people watching you who aren't his. We need to move you somewhere safe. Now. Ada's mind was racing. Kim SSI, Jaehyun, protected. But how did she know this was real? How did she know this wasn't exactly what Min-jae had warned her about? If Jaehyun wants me protected, he can call me himself. He's in a meeting. He sent us. Then I'll wait until the meeting is over. Another pause, longer this time. She could hear muffled conversation on the other end. Then a different voice came on. Familiar, the handler from the penthouse. Miss Ada, please get in the car. There are men across the street, 2 of them, gray jacket and black coat. They've been following you for the past 15 minutes. If you don't come with us, they will approach you, and we won't be able to stop what happens next. Ada's eyes flicked across the street. There, 2 men, one in a gray jacket, one in a black coat, both watching her with the kind of stillness that meant training. Her stomach dropped. How do I know you're not with them? Because if we were, you'd already be in a van heading out of Seoul. Kim SSI doesn't ask permission, but he sent us to ask anyway, because you matter to him, and he knew you wouldn't come unless we explained. The handler's voice was calm, patient, completely certain. Ada looked at the 2 men across the street, looked at the car, made a choice she hoped she wouldn't regret. Okay. The back door opened. She got in. The car pulled away from the curb immediately. Smooth, fast. Ada looked back. The 2 men were moving now. One was pulling out a phone. The other was walking quickly toward where the car had been. Who are they? Ada asked. The handler was in the front passenger seat. He didn't turn around. Competitors. People who think they can use you to pressure Kim SSI into giving them something they want. Use me how? You don't want to know. Yes, I do. He finally turned, looked at her with eyes that had seen too much. They take you. They hurt you enough to make him listen. They send him proof. They make demands. And then, if he gives them what they want, maybe they give you back, maybe they don't. The words landed like stones. Ada felt something cold spread through her chest. This is what he meant, she whispered, when he said be careful, not of him. Yes. The car was moving through Seoul traffic. Ada had no idea where they were going. She should have been more afraid, should have demanded to be let out. But the memory of those two men watching her, the patient, predatory stillness of them, kept her in the seat. Where are we going? Somewhere safe, until Kim SSI can deal with the situation. Deal with it how? The handler didn't answer. Didn't need to. Ada understood what dealing with it meant when it came to Jaehyun. Her phone buzzed. She looked down. Jaehyun. She answered. Hello. Are you in the car? His voice was tight, controlled but barely. Yes. She heard him exhale. Good, are you hurt? No, I'm fine. Jaehyun, what's happening? I'm handling it. Stay with them. Do what they tell you. I'll be there in 20 minutes. Beware. Where am I going? Somewhere they can't reach you. He paused. I'm sorry, I knew this was a risk. I thought I had more time to prepare. I was wrong. The rawness in his voice made her chest ache. It's not your fault. Yes, it is. Everything about this is my fault, but I'm going to fix it. Another pause. Ada. Yeah. Thank you for getting in the car. I know how hard that was, how much trust that took. She looked out the window. Seoul was passing by in a blur of buildings and people and ordinary life that suddenly felt very far away. I don't know if I trust you, she said honestly, but I trust that you don't want me hurt. Never. The word was absolute, final. I will burn down half of Seoul before I let anyone touch you. The call ended. Ada sat in the back of the car and tried to process what was happening. 3 days ago, she had been invisible. Nobody. Just another foreign woman cleaning floors and sending money home. And now, she was being driven through Seoul by armed men because other armed men wanted to use her as leverage against someone who ran an empire in the shadows. Min Jae had tried to warn her. You became a target the moment you became important to him. Ada had chosen to stay anyway. Now she was living the consequences. The car pulled into an underground garage, expensive building. The kind Ada had cleaned but never entered as anything other than staff. They parked. The handler opened her door. This way. They took a private elevator, went up. The doors opened onto a hallway Ada didn't recognize. Different building than Jaehyun's penthouse. Smaller, more residential. The handler led her to a door, unlocked it, stepped aside. Wait here, don't leave. Don't open the door for anyone except Kim SSI or me. Understand? Ada nodded. She went inside, the door locked behind her. The apartment was beautiful, modern, floor-to-ceiling windows with a view of Seoul. Kitchen, living room, 2 doors that probably led to bedrooms. Everything was clean and minimalist and clearly expensive. Ada set her grocery bag on the counter. Rice and instant coffee. The mundane reality of what she'd been doing 20 minutes ago felt absurd now. She walked to the window, looked out at Seoul. Somewhere out there, Jaehyun was dealing with the situation. She didn't want to think too hard about what that meant. Her phone buzzed. Jisoo. Hey, Ada answered. Are you okay? You sound weird. Ada almost laughed. Weird. Yes, that was one word for it. I'm fine, just... She stopped. How did you explain this? Something happened, I'm safe now, but I can't really talk about it. Ada, Jisoo's voice sharpened. What happened? Someone was following me. Jaehyun's people got me out. I'm in a safe place now. Silence on the other end. Then, I'm coming over. You can't. I don't even know where I am, and I'm not supposed to leave. Are you locked in? No, but I was told to stay put. By him. By his people. Jisoo was quiet for a moment. This is what Min Jae warned you about, isn't it? Yes. And you're still, she stopped, started again. You're still going to stay with him after this. It wasn't a question. Ada didn't answer right away. She looked out at Seoul and thought about the 2 men in the gray jacket and black coat. Thought about what the handler had said. They hurt you enough to make him listen. I don't know, Ada said finally. Ask me when this is over. Okay, Jisoo's voice softened. Call me when you can. I need to know you're all right. I will. They hung up. Ada sat on the couch, waited. The apartment was very quiet. Outside, Seoul moved through its afternoon. Inside, she existed in a strange, suspended space, protected, isolated, caught between two versions of reality, the one where she was just Ada, cleaning floors and sending money home, and the one where she was important enough to kidnap. The door opened 20 minutes later. Jaehyun stepped inside. He was still in his suit from whatever meeting he'd been in. His expression was controlled, calm, but Ada could see the tension in his shoulders, the barely contained energy that said he'd been moving fast. He crossed the room, stopped in front of her, looked her over like he was checking for injuries he knew weren't there, but needed to see for himself anyway. "You're okay," he said. "I'm okay." He sat down beside her, not touching, just close. "Tell me what happened, everything." Ada told him. The car, the turns, the phone call. The two men across the street, getting in the car, the handler's explanation. Jaehyun listened without interrupting. When she finished, his jaw was tight. "Their names are Park and Chen. They work for a man named Kang. He's been trying to expand into territories I control. I've blocked him 3 times in the past year. This was his way of applying pressure." He won't be a problem anymore. Ada looked at him. "What did you do?" "I had a conversation with him. Made it clear that certain actions have certain consequences." He understood. "Jaehyun," she turned to face him fully. "What did you do?" He met her eyes. "I made sure he knows that if anyone he's associated with comes within 100 meters of you, I will dismantle his entire operation. I will seize his assets. I will make sure every person who works for him knows exactly why their jobs disappeared. And then I will make sure he spends the rest of his life looking over his shoulder, wondering when I'll decide that wasn't enough." The cold precision of it should have scared her. Instead, she felt something else, something warmer, safer. "You threatened him." "I promised him." Jaehyun's voice was very calm. "There's a difference." They sat in silence. Ada processed. Jaehyun waited. "How long do I have to stay here?" Ada asked finally. "Until I'm certain the threat is neutralized. A few days, maybe a week. I have to work. I have rent. I can't just disappear." "I've taken care of it." Ada's head snapped up. "What does that mean?" "I called your supervisor, told him you had a family emergency and needed time off. He gave you 2 weeks, paid." Jaehyun's expression didn't change. "Your rent is covered for the next 3 months. Your utilities, everything. You can't just—" "I already did." Ada stood up, paced to the window. "I don't want your money, Jaehyun." "It's not about what you want. It's about keeping you safe. And you can't be safe if you're worried about rent or work or any of the practical things that would force you back into a routine those men could predict. So what am I supposed to do? Just stay here, in this apartment, for days?" "Yes." He stood too, came to stand beside her at the window. "I know it's not ideal. I know you value your independence. But right now, your independence is a vulnerability, and I won't risk you for pride." Ada turned to face him. "This is what Minjai meant, isn't it? This feeling of my life not being mine anymore." "Yes." He didn't deny it, didn't soften it. "This is what it means to be close to me. Your life stops being entirely yours, because threats to you become threats to me, and I respond to threats. By taking over. By protecting." He reached out, touched her face, gentle. "I know the difference feels thin sometimes, but there is a difference. I'm not controlling you because I want power over you. I'm protecting you because losing you is not an option I'm willing to consider." Ada felt tears prick her eyes, not from fear, from the weight of it, the enormity of what he was offering and what it cost. "What if I want to leave?" she whispered. "Not now, but someday. What if I decide this is too much?" Jaehyun's expression shifted. Something painful crossed his face. "Then I let you go. I make sure you're safe. I make sure no one bothers you, and I stay away. Because the alternative, keeping you here when you don't want to be, would make me exactly what Minjai said I was, and I refuse to be that, not with you. You promise?" "Yes." She believed him. She didn't know why, couldn't explain it, but she did. "Okay," she said. "I'll stay for now." Relief washed over his face. "Thank you." He pulled her into his arms then, just held her. Ada let herself be held, let herself feel the safety of it, the solid warmth of him, the way his heart beat steady against her cheek. "I'm sorry," he said into her hair. "I'm sorry this is what being with me means. I'm sorry I can't give you normal." "I never wanted normal," Ada said. "I just wanted to be seen." "You are," he pulled back enough to look at her. "You're the most visible thing in my world. Everything else is background noise." He kissed her then, not gentle like before, deeper, more desperate. The kiss of someone who had spent the past hour imagining worst-case scenarios and needed to confirm she was real and here and safe. Ada kissed him back, let herself fall into it, let herself stop thinking about consequences and danger and the fact that her life had tilted sideways in ways she could never have predicted. When they finally pulled apart, Jaehyun rested his forehead against hers. "Stay with me tonight," he said. "Don't make me leave you here alone." "Okay." They ordered food, sat on the couch, ate in comfortable silence. Outside, Seoul transitioned from afternoon to evening. Inside, two people existed in a bubble of temporary safety. "Tell me about Nigeria," Jaehyun said suddenly. Ada looked at him. "Why?" "Because I want to know. Because you've been here for over a year and I don't know anything about where you came from, what you left behind." So she told him about Lagos, about her mother and her sisters, about the noise and the heat and the way the city moved with a different kind of energy than Seoul, about the food she missed and the language that felt like home and the small apartment where she'd grown up sharing a room with 3 siblings. "Why did you leave?" he asked. "Money, same reason everyone leaves. I could make more here in a month than I could make there in 6, so I came. Figured I'd stay a year, send money, go home." "And now?" "Now I don't know," she looked at him. "Everything's changed." "Because of me." "Because of you." He was quiet for a moment. "Do you regret it?" Ada thought about it, really thought about it. Thought about the lounge and the convenience store and the penthouse and the business dinner. Thought about Minjai's warnings and the 2 men following her and the fact that she was sitting in a safe house because people wanted to hurt her to get to him. "Ask me again in a year," she said. He smiled, that small, private smile that was just for her. "Fair enough." They talked for hours, about everything and nothing. He told her about growing up in Seoul, about his father who had built the business from nothing and died when Jaehyun was 23, leaving him an empire he hadn't been ready for. About the first year after his father's death when rivals had tested him, thinking youth meant weakness. About the choices he'd had to make to prove them wrong. "I was different then," he said quietly. They were still on the couch, the remains of their dinner on the coffee table, Seoul's lights glittering through the windows. "Angrier, more reckless, I hurt people because I could, because it felt like power when everything else felt like chaos." Ada listened, didn't interrupt, let him talk. "There was a man," Jaehyun continued. "Lee. He worked for my father, helped build everything we had. And when my father died, Lee thought he could take over, thought I was too young, too soft. He tried to turn my father's people against me, tried to convince them that the business needed someone stronger." "What did you do?" "I destroyed him," Jaehyun said it matter-of-factly. "Not quickly. I could have ended it in a day, but I was young and angry and I wanted everyone to see what happened when you underestimated me. So I dismantled his life piece by piece. His money, his reputation, his family's standing. I made sure everyone knew that crossing me meant losing everything." Ada absorbed this. "Do you regret it?" "The outcome? No, he needed to be stopped. But the method?" Jaehyun looked at her. "Yes, I was cruel when I could have been efficient. I made it personal when it should have been business. And I did it because I was scared and angry and trying to prove something to men who were never going to respect me anyway. And now? Now I'm different, still dangerous, still willing to do what's necessary, but not cruel, not anymore." He reached out, took her hand. "You make me want to be better, not just for you, for myself. Because when I look at you, I see someone who deserves better than what I was." Ada felt her throat tighten. "I don't want you to change for me." "I'm not. I'm changing because you make me remember who I wanted to be before everything else got in the way. Before I became what the business needed me to be instead of what I wanted to be. They sat in comfortable silence for a while. Outside, Seoul's endless hum continued. Inside, two people tried to understand each other across the vast distance between their worlds. Tell me something true, Ada said suddenly. Something you've never told anyone else. Jaehyun was quiet for a long moment. Then, I'm tired, not physically, but tired of being what everyone needs me to be. The fearless leader, the untouchable power, the man who never hesitates or doubts or breaks. I'm tired of wearing that mask and I can't take it off because too many people depend on me to keep wearing it. You can take it off with me. I know, that's why you scare me. He said it honestly, without shame. Because if I take it off with you, I might not be able to put it back on. And I don't know what happens to everything I've built if I can't be that person anymore. Ada squeezed his hand. You'll still be you, just more of you. Maybe, he didn't sound convinced. Or maybe I'll fall apart and take everything with me. I won't let you fall apart. He smiled, sad, grateful. You say that now. Wait until you see how broken I actually am under all of this. I've already seen it. The night you came back from dealing with Park and Chen. You had blood on your shirt and exhaustion in your eyes, and you still sat by my bed all night to make sure I felt safe. That's not broken. That's human. Something in his expression cracked, just slightly. I love you, he said again, more certain this time. I know you're not ready to say it back, but I need you to know. In case something happens, in case I can't protect you the way I promised, I need you to know that you are the most real thing in my life. Ada felt tears prick her eyes. Not sad tears, something else. Nothing's going to happen. You don't know that. No, but I choose to believe it anyway, because the alternative is living in fear, and I'm done being afraid. They looked at each other, and in that moment, something shifted, something settled, an understanding that whatever came next, they would face it together. She told him about cleaning floors and being invisible and the strange loneliness of being a foreign woman in a country that didn't quite want you. About the small victories, finding the right rice cooker on sale, understanding enough Korean to follow a conversation, making Jisoo laugh with a joke that actually landed. About the homesickness that hit at random times, smelling plantain frying somewhere and nearly crying because it reminded her of her mother's kitchen. Do you want to go back? Jaehyun asked. To Nigeria to see your family. Someday, when it's safe, when I'm not, she gestured helplessly. When I'm not this. A target. Yeah. I could make it safe, send people with you, make sure no one bothers you. Ada laughed. Can you imagine, showing up to my mother's apartment with armed bodyguards? She'd think I joined a gang. Technically. Don't, she pointed at him. Don't finish that sentence. He grinned, actual genuine amusement. Fair enough. The conversation drifted. Light topics, heavy topics, everything in between. And somewhere in the talking, in the sharing of truths and fears and small everyday details, they built something. Not just attraction, not just protection, something deeper, something that felt like foundation. Somewhere around midnight, she fell asleep on the couch. Woke up in a bed she didn't recognize with blankets tucked around her. Jaehyun was sitting in a chair by the window, laptop open, working in the dim light. What time is it? Ada asked. 3. You should sleep. I will soon. He closed the laptop, came to sit on the edge of the bed. How are you feeling? Confused, scared, safe. She looked at him, all at the same time. That's fair. He reached out, brushed hair from her face. Go back to sleep, I'll be here. Promise. Promise. She closed her eyes, felt him settle into the chair again, felt the weight of his presence, the protection of it, and despite everything, despite the danger and the uncertainty and the fact that her life had become something unrecognizable, she felt safe. She woke the next morning to sunlight and the smell of coffee. Jaehyun was in the kitchen, dressed in different clothes than yesterday. He must have gone to get them while she slept. Morning, he said when he saw her. Morning, she stretched. Did you sleep at all? A few hours. Liar. He smiled. Coffee. Please. They sat at the counter, drank coffee. The morning felt surreal, domestic, like they were a normal couple in a normal apartment having a normal morning, except nothing about this was normal. I have to go out for a few hours, Jaehyun said. There are things I need to handle, the situation with Kang, some business that can't wait. Okay. The handler will be outside. Don't leave. Don't open the door for anyone. I know. And Ada, he waited until she looked at him. Call me if anything feels wrong, anything at all. I don't care if I'm in a meeting. I don't care what I'm doing. You call me. Okay. He kissed her, left, and Ada was alone in the beautiful apartment with nothing to do but think. She called Jisoo. You're alive, Jisoo said when she answered. I'm alive. Where are you? I don't know, some safe house, somewhere in Seoul. With him. He was here, he left this morning. He'll be back. Jisoo was quiet. Are you okay, really? I think so, I don't know. Yesterday, men were following me. Today I'm drinking coffee in a penthouse and waiting for my boyfriend. She stopped. Is that what he is, my boyfriend? I think he's a little more than that. Ada laughed. It felt good, normal. Yeah, probably. Ada, Jisoo's voice got serious. Minjai called me. Ada's stomach dropped. What? She called, asked if I'd heard from you, said she was worried. Said she'd seen some things that made her think the situation was escalating faster than she'd expected. What kind of things? She wouldn't say, just said to tell you to be careful, and that if you need help, if you need to run, she knows people who can help. Ada closed her eyes. Minjai, still trying to save her, still running herself but trying to help anyway. Tell her I'm okay, Ada said. Tell her I'm protected. Are you protected? Yes. By him. Yes. Ada. I know what you're going to say. I know what Minjai thinks, what everyone thinks. But I'm not her. My story doesn't have to be her story. Jisoo sighed. Okay, but promise me something. Promise me you'll keep your eyes open. Promise me you won't let love make you blind to danger. I promise. They talked a while longer. Normal things. Work. Weather. The drama Jisoo was watching. All of it felt like a lifeline to the ordinary world Ada had left behind. When she hung up, the apartment felt bigger, emptier. She walked to the window, looked out at Seoul, wondered which building out there housed the men who'd followed her, wondered if they were watching now, wondering if they'd try again. Her phone buzzed, unknown number. She almost didn't answer, almost let it go to voicemail, but something made her pick up. Hello? Ada, a man's voice, not Korean, American accent, educated, controlled. You don't know me, but I know you, and I know who you're with. Her blood went cold. Who is this? Someone who wants to help you, someone who knows what Kim Jaehyun really is, what he's done, the people he's hurt. I'm hanging up. Wait, please, just listen. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to save you, before it's too late. Before you're in so deep you can't see the truth anymore. Ada's hand shook. How did you get this number? That's not important. What's important is that you understand. Jaehyun isn't who you think he is. The man who brings you coffee and holds you at night, that's real. But it's not all of him. There's another side. A side that's destroyed lives, ended them, and if you stay with him, you'll become complicit. You'll carry that weight. You don't know what you're talking about. I do. I've been investigating him for 2 years. I have evidence, photos, testimony, things that would make you sick if you saw them. But I can help you. I can get you out. Safe, protected. All you have to do is meet me. 1 hour. Let me show you the truth, and then you can decide. Ada's mind was racing. Who was this? FBI? Interpol? A rival trying to get to Jaehyun through her? Or someone genuinely trying to help? If you have evidence, take it to the police. The police can't touch him. You know that. He owns too many people, has too many connections. But you could be the thing that brings him down. You could be the one who finally makes him answer for what he's done. The families he's destroyed. the lives he's ruined, the people who never got justice because he's too powerful to touch. The words hit something raw in Ada, made her think of Min-jae, of the violence she'd witnessed, of the things Jaehyun had admitted to, the man Lee whose life he'd dismantled piece by piece, the cruel methods he regretted but didn't undo. What kind of evidence? Ada heard herself ask. Documentation of his operations, money trails, photos of meetings with people the government has been trying to catch for years, testimony from people he's hurt, destroyed. Some of them are dead now. Their families want justice. You could help them get it. Why me? Why not go to his enemies, to other people in his world? Because you're the only one he cares about enough to make a mistake for. You're his weakness, and weaknesses can be exploited. Not by me, I don't want to hurt you, but by others. By people who will use you whether you cooperate or not. At least if you work with me, I can protect you properly, get you out, give you a new life somewhere safe. Ada walked to the window, looked out at Seoul. This is insane. It's the truth, and deep down, you know it. You know there are things he hasn't told you, things he's done that he's never going to admit. You know that the man you're falling for has blood on his hands. The only question is whether you can live with that. And what do you get out of this? Why do you care? Justice, that's all. I've spent 2 years building a case that won't stick because he's untouchable. But if I had someone on the inside, someone he trusts, someone who could get me the evidence I need, I could finally bring him down. Finally make him answer for what he's done. You want me to betray him? I want you to do the right thing. There's a difference. And if I say no? The man on the other end sighed. Then you keep living this life, waiting for the other shoe to drop, waiting for someone to use you to hurt him, waiting to find out exactly how dark his world gets when things don't go his way. And eventually, maybe not today, maybe not this year, but eventually, you'll wish you'd said yes. You'll wish you'd gotten out when you had the chance. Or maybe, Ada said quietly, I'll prove you wrong. Maybe my story won't end the way Min-jae's did. Maybe I'm strong enough to handle this. Maybe. He didn't sound convinced. But I don't bet on maybes when people's lives are at stake. Think about it. That's all I ask. Think about the life you're choosing. Think about what it means to love someone who hurts people for a living. Think about the moment when you realize that the man holding you is the same man who ordered someone's death over a business disagreement. And when you're ready to know the truth, the whole truth, call this number. The line went dead. Ada stood in the apartment. Her coffee had gone cold. Her hands were shaking. She should call Jaehyun, tell him about the call, let him handle it. But something stopped her. Some small voice that said, what if this person is right? What if there are things about Jaehyun she doesn't know? Things that would change everything. She thought about Lee, about how Jaehyun had admitted to being cruel when he could have been efficient, about making it personal, about dismantling someone's life piece by piece because he was young and angry and scared. He'd changed since then, he said. He was different now. But was he, or was he just better at hiding it? Her phone buzzed again. Jaehyun. Hey, she answered. Her voice came out normal, steady. She was getting good at lying by omission. Are you okay? You sound off. Should she tell him about the call, about the man who claimed to have evidence, about the invitation to betray him? I'm fine, just restless, being cooped up. I know, I'm sorry, I'm finishing up here. I'll be back in an hour. We can go for a drive if you want. Get you out of that apartment for a bit. That sounds nice. Ada. Yeah. I love you. The words hit her like a physical thing. He'd said them last night and they'd stayed with her, warming her from the inside. But now, with the stranger's voice still in her head, they felt different. Heavier. Like an anchor or a chain, she wasn't sure which. She stopped, couldn't say it back. Not yet, not with the doubt poisoning the moment. I'll see you soon. She heard him exhale, not disappointed, just accepting. Soon. They hung up. Ada sat on the couch, stared at her phone, thought about the call, about what the stranger had offered, evidence, truth, the whole truth. Did she want it? Did she want to know everything? Or was she happier with the version of Jaehyun she had now? the man who protected her and held her and made her feel like the center of the universe. She thought about Min-jae, about how she'd said, "I saw something I wasn't supposed to see," and then spent 2 years running from the memory of it. What had she seen? What had been so terrible that it broke whatever she felt for Jaehyun? And more importantly, if Ada saw it too, would it break her? She picked up her phone, looked at the last call. The unknown number was still there. She could call back, could meet this person, could see the evidence they claimed to have. Or she could delete the number, could trust Jaehyun, could choose to believe that whatever he'd done, whoever he'd hurt, it didn't change how she felt about him. Her thumb hovered over the call button. This was the choice Min-jae had talked about. The moment when you decide if love is enough to outweigh truth, if protection is worth the cost of complicity, if being seen by one person is worth turning a blind eye to what that person does in the shadows. Ada stared at her phone for a long time. And then, very slowly, she pressed delete. Not delete on the number, delete on the doubt. Because here's what the stranger didn't understand. Ada had made her choice already. Back in the convenience store when Jaehyun smiled at her. Back at the penthouse when he said good to her fear. Back at the business dinner when he defended her without hesitation. Back last night when he admitted to being tired and broken and scared. She'd made her choice then. And making it again now wouldn't change anything except give her doubts she didn't need. If there was evidence of terrible things, she would learn about it eventually. Life had a way of revealing secrets, but she would learn about it from Jaehyun, from his mouth, in his time, and then she would decide what to do with that information. But she wouldn't go looking for it from strangers who wanted to use her. She wouldn't become the weapon someone else wielded against him. She deleted the number. And when Jaehyun came home an hour later, she kissed him and said, "Take me for that drive." They drove through Seoul at night, top down on the car he'd brought, wind in Ada's hair, the city lights streaming past like something from a movie, Jaehyun's hand on her knee, the radio playing something soft and melodic she didn't recognize. "Where are we going?" Ada asked. "Nowhere, everywhere, does it matter?" No. And it didn't. Because for the first time since the men had followed her, since she'd gotten in the car with the handler, since her life had tilted sideways into this new reality, Ada felt free. Not safe, not protected, just free. The wind and the night and the man beside her, and the choice she'd made. They ended up at a viewpoint on the outskirts of Seoul, pulled over, got out, stood at the edge and looked down at the city spread out below them like a carpet of light. "It's beautiful," Ada said. "Yes," but Jaehyun was looking at her, not the city. She turned to face him. "Someone called me today." His expression changed, became alert. "Who?" "I don't know, American, said he had evidence about you, wanted me to meet him to see the truth." She watched his face, watched the controls slide into place. "I said no." "Why?" "Because I don't need a stranger to tell me who you are. If I want to know something about you, I'll ask you myself." Jaehyun was very still. "And if I don't tell you?" "Then I'll decide if not knowing is something I can live with." "That's a dangerous game." "So is loving you." She stepped closer. "But I'm playing anyway." He pulled her into his arms then, held her like she was something precious, something breakable. "Thank you," he said into her hair. "For choosing me, for not," he stopped. "Thank you. Don't make me regret it." "I'll try not to." They stood there for a long time, looking out at Seoul. Two people balanced on the knife's edge between love and danger, truth and lies, protection and control. And for now, for tonight, that was enough. Ada knew the questions would come back, the doubts, the wondering. But right now, in this moment, with his arms around her and the city glittering below them, she chose not to care. She chose him. And whatever consequences came with that choice, she would face them when they arrived. Not before. They drove back to the safe house in comfortable silence. The wind had died down. The streets were quieter now, Seoul settling into its late-night rhythm. When they pulled into the underground garage, Jaehyun killed the engine but didn't move to get out. "Can I ask you something?" he said. Always. The man who called you, did he tell you his name? No. Did he say who he worked for? No, just that he'd been investigating you for 2 years, that he had evidence. Ada looked at him. Does it matter? I already said no. It matters because if someone's building a case against me, I need to know how close they are, how much they know, what evidence they think they have. He turned to face her. I'm not worried about the law, Ada. I've spent years making sure I'm untouchable legally, but information can be weaponized in other ways, used to pressure allies, turn partners, destabilize relationships. Like ours. Especially like ours. His hand found hers in the dark. You're my one vulnerability, the only person who could actually hurt me if they wanted to, and people know that now. They're going to keep trying to use you, to turn you, to make you doubt me. They won't succeed. Not today, but what about tomorrow? What about the day after? What about when they bring you actual evidence of things I've done? When they show you photos of meetings I shouldn't have been at, with people I shouldn't know? When they make it real instead of abstract? Ada was quiet for a moment. Then, tell me something, right now, something true, something ugly, the worst thing you've done that you think might make me leave. Jaehyun's jaw tightened. Why? Because I'd rather hear it from you than from a stranger. Because if I'm going to carry the weight of loving you, I need to know what that weight is. So tell me, the worst thing. He was silent for so long that Ada thought he might not answer. Then, there was a man 3 years ago. He ran drugs through routes I controlled. I told him to stop. He didn't, so I had him picked up, brought to me. And I gave him a choice, leave Seoul and never come back or face consequences. What did he choose? He chose to stay, said he had family here, kids, he couldn't just leave. Jaehyun's voice was flat, emotionless. So I made it impossible for him to stay. I got his kids expelled from their schools. I got his wife fired from her job. I got their landlord to evict them. And when he came to me begging, asking what he could do to fix it, I told him the same thing, leave Seoul, just leave. And he would have. He was packing. But one of my competitors got to him first. Convinced him that if he testified about my operations, they could protect him, help him. Ada felt something cold settle in her stomach. What happened? He agreed, set up a meeting with police, was going to give them names, locations, everything. Jaehyun finally looked at her. I couldn't let that happen, so I made sure he didn't make it to the meeting. The words hung in the air. Ada understood what he wasn't saying, what he wouldn't say directly. You killed him. No, but I ordered it, which is the same thing. He didn't look away, didn't soften it. And his family, the kids I'd used as leverage, they never knew why their father disappeared. They probably think he abandoned them. That's on me, that weight. That's what loving me means carrying. Ada's throat was tight. Do you regret it? Yes and no. I regret that it had to happen. I regret that children lost their father. But I don't regret protecting my operations. Protecting the hundreds of people who depend on me. One man's life weighed against hundreds, I'd make the same choice again. Even knowing it would cost you this, us. I don't know, he said it honestly. Ask me when it actually costs me you, and I'll give you an answer. They sat in silence. The garage was very quiet, very dark, just the two of them and the weight of what he'd told her. Ada should have felt sick, should have pulled away. Should have realized that the man she loved was capable of things that made him a monster by any moral standard. But instead, she felt something else, something that scared her more than his confession. She felt relieved. Because now she knew, now she understood. The worst thing, or at least a version of it, was out in the open, and she was still here, still choosing him. Thank you, she said quietly. For what? For telling you I had someone killed. For trusting me with the truth, for not lying. She squeezed his hand. I'm not saying I'm okay with what you did. I'm not saying I understand it or that I would have made the same choice. But I'm saying I'm still here, and I'm choosing to stay, with full knowledge of who you are. You're insane. Probably, she smiled slightly, but I'm your insane, so you're stuck with me. He pulled her across the console, kissed her hard, desperate, the kiss of someone who expected to be rejected and got acceptance instead. When they finally came up for air, His forehead was pressed against hers. "I love you," he said. "I know I keep saying it and you're not ready to say it back, and that's okay. But I need you to know, even if you wake up tomorrow and decide this was a mistake, even if you realize you can't live with what I am, I need you to know that I love you, completely, irrevocably, in a way I didn't think I was capable of." "I know," Ada's voice was soft. "And she stopped, took a breath, let herself say it. "I love you too, even though you scare me, even though this is probably the worst idea I've ever had, even though every rational part of me is screaming to run, I love you." The smile that spread across his face was pure joy, unguarded, real. "Say it again." "I love you." "Again." "I love you, you ridiculous man." He laughed, actual laughter that lit up his whole face and made him look years younger. Okay, that's enough. I don't want to wear it out." "Too late. You're stuck hearing it now." They sat in the car for another 20 minutes, just talking, just being. And when they finally went inside, when they fell asleep wrapped around each other, Ada felt something she hadn't felt in months. Peace. Not safety, not certainty, just peace. The peace that comes from making a choice and accepting it fully. The peace that comes from loving someone with your eyes open. Morning came too soon. Ada woke to find Jaehyun already awake, watching her with an expression she couldn't quite read. "What?" she asked, voice rough with sleep. "Nothing, just memorizing this." "Memorizing what?" "You here with me, in case it doesn't last." "It'll last." "You don't know that." "No, but I believe it anyway." She reached up, touched his face. "Stop waiting for me to leave." "I can't help it. Everyone leaves eventually." "Not me. You're stuck with me. I'm like..." She searched for the right comparison. "I'm like Nigerian jollof rice. Once you have me, everything else tastes bland." He laughed. "Did you just compare yourself to rice?" "The best rice. Don't disrespect jollof." "I wouldn't dare." They lay there for a while longer. Comfortable. Easy. And when Jaehyun's phone rang and the real world came crashing back in, they faced it together. "It's handled," he said after the call. "Kang's people have backed off. The threat is neutralized. You can go back to your apartment, back to your life." "What if I don't want to?" He looked at her. "What?" "What if I want to stay? Not here, not in this safe house, but with you, in your world. What if I want to stop pretending we're casual and actually be what we are?" "And what are we?" "Together, completely, no more separate apartments, no more half measures." She sat up. "I'm all in, Jaehyun, so stop protecting me from this. Let me be part of it, part of you, really part of it." He stared at her for a long moment. Then, "You're serious?" "Completely." "You understand what you're asking, what that means?" "I think so, and if I don't, I'll learn, with you, together." A slow smile spread across his face. "Okay." "Okay." "Okay, move in with me, be mine, completely, all of it." He pulled her into his arms. "But I'm warning you now, once you're in, I'm never letting you go." "Good, because I'm never leaving." If you've made it this far, if you felt Ada's fear when that car followed her, if you understood the weight of Jaehyun saying, "I love you," for the first time, if you're sitting there wondering what choice Ada is about to make and whether it will destroy her or save her, then do something for me right now. Hit that subscribe button, because episode 4 is going to break you. Ada's decision will have consequences neither of them saw coming. The truth about Jaehyun's past is about to surface, and when it does, everything they've built will be tested. Comment below, would you call that number? Would you look at the evidence or would you trust love? I need to know what you'd do. Because this story is about to shatter, and you are not ready for what's coming.